And take two. Welcome back to It's Cool S2, guys, the podcast for women in their 30s who are looking to build their life on their terms, their timeline, and by their rules, if they want, when they want, how they want it. Oh my God, I nailed it.
You nailed it. We were practicing before.
We were worried that it wasn't going to hold up to my first take, but it was fine.
It was still strong. It was still strong.
We'll still workshop. I mean, we're finessing it. I would like to get back to a place if you're an OG listener, we had like our intro was our like in our music.
Yeah.
And like it was just very recognizable. I feel like that's the thing that I want to get back to, even though we verbally say it. Really like removing the fourth wall we're here, or I am anyways.
Really? I feel like it's like not the done thing anymore to have like a description.
I think like a consistent bite. You know what? Let's put this to our listeners. Comment on the episode or send us a DM and let us know if you like it or don't like it. Because maybe I'm super wrong on this.
I don't know. I just think about Giggly Squad, how every time they start, but I guess they do have the da 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 like at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then like Hannah always comes up with like a different like, hello, my galactic gigglers or whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. I guess they do
find
have
our
both.
thing.
We'll find our thing.
How are you doing, Mugsies? Why did I call you Mugsies?
You're bringing back an old nickname. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I had a fucking annoying day. You know so I think part of it, there's many things at play here. I spent the whole day indoors yesterday because we got an epic dump of snow. Like a crazy
next
snowstorm
level in Toronto.
I was messaging someone, and I live on the 8th floor of an apartment building, and I was like, I feel like I'm in a snow globe. Like I almost couldn't see outside because the volume of snow that was falling was so insane that it just looked like fog. And I was just saying to Nicole, my patio, you cannot see my furniture. It's that high. It's like you can't, my barbecue is fully covered. It's insane.
That's wild.
So anyways, I didn't get to leave my house. I didn't have human connection yesterday. And then I woke up today and it was like just that energy that I'm remembering now of, oh my God, everything is urgent. Like every big thing seems to be due and everything is urgent, and I'm putting a ton of pressure on myself and I'm not getting everything right. And I had a couple of interactions with people at work that I was just like, that like annoyed me. And then some of the meetings that I needed to have didn't go ahead. And anyways, I'm the type of person who likes making decisions and moving forwards. And there's a lot of things on my plate right now at work that I cannot move forwards on my own. Like I need people and consensus,
like buy-in and like momentum.
Yes. And I completely understand why I need those things, but it like infuriates me that I can't tick something off of my list.
Yeah.
So I'm already in a bad mood. And then I had to go give blood or get blood work. I know. Who are we? We get blood work done at the same time.
I know.
But I neglected to look at the requisition form, and I was supposed to, so first of all, I'm leaving my house. It's just awful outside. Like, can I just say it's awful. You can barely walk on the sidewalks. It's so bad. And I'm like freezing cold. I have my hood up. Like you can just see my eyes.
Yeah.
I've got like one of those massive jackets. And get on the bus. And there's all these people with fucking backpacks on. Huge backpacks. Just standing on the bus. There's nothing I hate more. Take your fucking backpack off. Like, it is jam-packed. People are trying to get on the bus and you have a backpack on? Is that something that people don't know? Like, you need to take your backpack off. You can't keep it on when you're standing. So rude. And I was like already so riled up that I was like, I almost said to someone, I almost said, take your fucking backpack off. But I didn't, because I was like, I don't want to get in a fight with someone on the bus in Toronto. So anyways, finally make it to get my blood taken. Get there. And then they're like, so you've been fasting all day? And I was like, no, I have not. And they were like, okay, well, we can't do all of these. Like, you needed to have been fasting. So we can only do a few of them. And also you need to pee in a cup. And I didn't realize I would have to pee in a cup. I had no pee left in me. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back. I did manage to pee in the cup. But I'm going to have to go back and get more blood work done, even though I already went. And that's how you are meeting me in my life today. Sometimes we don't have great days, but I'm pretty fired up. So maybe that's a good way of going into
I
the
do like
episode.
this energy.
Yeah.
I feel like this energy will serve us well in today's episode.
I think so.
It's so interesting because I had a very chill day to the point that I know, no, but here's the problem. I know shit's about to hit the fan, and it was like I couldn't get it together to do more than just what I had to do.
Yeah. Nothing proactive.
Nope.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. So that was great. And I got up. I left my house at 6:45 this morning.
Jesus Christ.
Because I did fast. And so I wanted to go first thing. And I went to Dynacare, which you can't, at what locations around me, you can't book an appointment ahead of time. You could if I went to a different lab or something. And I went last week having fasted. I got there 15 minutes after it opened and it was a 3-hour wait. So I just went to work like an hour and a half early.
Well, I said this to you. My appointment was at 4. What do you think? I've been fasting the entire day? Like, I would pass away.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me to fast when I fast. Like, I finish eating at like 7 and then I go in and my appointment's at 7:30. It's fine. So I went in this morning, did it. I already have a bruise forming on my arm.
Yeah, you bruise like a peach
when I get blood work. So that was fine. Had my day, came home. I've got leftovers. Like I did a bunch of like prep for food this week. So like I have leftover steak and potatoes for tonight, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And I'm probably going to get in bed real early. I did 4 puzzles of my puzzle book last night in bed.
Oh my God, I forgot you're doing no phone in bed.
Yeah.
So you're getting in bed early to puzzle?
Well, no, I just like got in bed because I was so cold and it felt cozy.
But you said you're going to get in early tonight. So
I think
you're
tonight I'll
excited
get
about
in,
the puzzling?
Yeah. And like I'm reading a book. Like I build like a whole curriculum and I did like some goal setting and some planning for the year. I finally like moved into that stuff.
Wow.
And this may last a week. If history tells us anything, Nicole gets real excited and then and it's usually tied to my cycle. So
we'll see.
TMI, I'm just finishing my period right now. So I'm going to be on like a wave of motivation for the next like 2 weeks.
Nice.
And then watch this space because I guarantee you 2 weeks after that, no motivation.
Actually, I'm about to get my period.
Absolutely dead to the world.
That's why I'm in a mood. That is totally why I'm in a mood.
100%. Yeah. And so that was my day today. I'm getting excited because you're coming down this weekend and we're doing fun stuff. And yeah. And the only other thing that I've really had going on in my life is I've just been like dating. And again, I really do blame my ovulation phase because I said all this when I was ovulating. And
I don't think you need to blame your ovulation phase. I think you need to give credit where credit's due.
You really got to ride it. But the funniest thing happened, like this, I went on one and recently, and he kind of just like left me in the snow because his Uber got there before me. And so I was just staying there. It's freezing outside. And there's like a group of university students, like these like 3 girls. And they just all kind of look at me and go, first date? And I went, yeah. They're like, not good? And I was like, no.
Oh my God, girlhood.
So yeah, it was great. But no, otherwise things are pretty steady here. I wish I had more news, but that's kind of it. But
yeah, my mom called me. We'll dive in, but my mom called me yesterday and she was like, so what's been going on with you? And I was like, yeah, I mean, not a lot. She was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I like talked about my plans for the week and like talked about the fact that I'm going on a trip in a couple weeks. And she was like, anything else? Or
Where are you going?
I'm going to Cartagena. Cartagena. You don't know about this?
You didn't ask my permission.
I'm going away
When and
for a
where are
week.
you going?
It's just after your birthday. I'm going with Teresa to Cartagena. Cartagena. We're going to go explore the city for a few days, and then we're going to go to a resort on one of the islands and lay for a few days.
I can't say I'm happy about this.
Maybe this is why I didn't tell you. My subconscious
Probably.
was like, this is going to be hard for Nicole.
This is not the time she's bleeding. Wait a week.
She doesn't need this on top of the bleeding.
Oh, man. We also have to talk. We talked about doing something in March at some point. So we need to chat.
We
about
did.
That.
We'll need to chat about that. We
We'll
can
do it
take
when we're
that
done
offline,
recording.
guys, though, because
we don't need to do that admin right now. Our podcast just turns into our admin nights. Speaking of which, I keep seeing this thing online. I keep seeing this thing online about
people getting together to do
nights.
admin.
Brilliant.
I think whatever, you know.
No, because I like being around people, but I also have all this annoying shit that I have to do. And
That's
it's like
true.
when you were in university and you were at the library, you wouldn't dick around because you were around other people that were doing their job. So you felt like peer pressured.
I do think
do
that
your stuff.
You're right. I do think that that's true. And actually, yeah, if I could go back in time, I would delete my face that I just made. I do think that it is.
I mean, I can fix it in post.
I do think that that's a really good point. I do love the idea of bringing back more just like casual hangs where it's like, yo, you want to come over? I'm eating like something totally not exciting and we'll probably have Real Housewives on in the background, but like,
yeah,
come over and hang. So an admin night could work.
I saw these girls being like spending time together, and it was them doing their grocery shop together.
So cute.
I thought it was adorable. Okay, that has nothing to do with the episode today.
No. So we are a little late to the game on this episode. We were, it was during our hiatus.
And we did debate coming back for it.
We were like so excited about this topic. So we're going to talk about the Vogue article called Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now? And we're going to talk about some recent developments that made us think, okay, it's worth revisiting this topic. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, the catalyst for this, I think last week, and again, this is not the be all end all. We don't know these people. We don't know the ins and outs of it. But as two avid Summer House watchers who have watched this relationship over 10 seasons, the announcement for Amanda and Kyle breaking up, I think really brought forth this idea of that would be an interesting case study.
Or like lens
to look at it through.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not the only thing. We don't know them, but I think it just kind of resurrected the argument. And as two deeply single women, it is an article that's resonated with me.
Yeah. Talk to me about, well, if anyone hasn't read it, I know it's been around for a little while. You want to give people a little recap?
Woof. Honestly, it basically just dives into the fact that I'm very much paraphrasing, so please go read it yourself. But at its core, it dives into this idea that in the past, women being partnered up was an achievement. It was a status symbol. It was something to be boasted about and heavily praised. And in the society with which we find ourselves today, that may not always be the case. Whether that is through, the fact that more and more women are staying single and establishing lives that feel embodied and exciting and free for them on their terms, which is something we very much but talk about on this podcast. Or through the fact that, sometimes men are just embarrassing. And like, not, I'm really butchering this and I feel bad, but sometimes what you have to put up with in a relationship and to keep that relationship is not in alignment with who you are and your values. And I think people are coming to terms with the fact that, especially in the dating culture that we live in today, where we've seen this firsthand, what the imbalance is in many instances between men and women, and how they're showing up for relationships. Honestly, people are kind of tired of seeing content around hetero partnered people.
Yeah. Yeah. And they talk in the article about how on social media, people are just showing their boyfriend less, like female creators. And I think a few influencers talked about how that could be because their followers are like, don't get a boyfriend, because there's a lot of single
It's not as
women out there right
exciting.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or their content is less exciting when they have a boyfriend. That's the perception, at least, or the fear. But I think at the core, it's exactly what you said. Like, it used to be an achievement. It was really put on a pedestal to be in a committed heterosexual relationship. And I think what we're seeing is a lot, and this is what we're seeing. I'm only able to quantify through what I'm seeing and what you're seeing through a lot of these like Bravo celebrities and those relationships. But what we're seeing a lot of is people, or women specifically, standing up for themselves and saying this isn't enough, or that is what we are attributing to a lot of the breakups that we're seeing in that public sphere right now.
And I think in a world in which where women do have more choice, they have more freedom, they don't need a partner.
Totally.
You do not have to get into a relationship at any cost. And so what we're seeing now is that actually this conversation isn't even really about men. It's about like the optics and the labor and what women are asked to put up with quietly in order to maintain or keep a relationship.
Very well said.
And like, again, I think in our notes, it's very important. I think we verbatim say this. This isn't anti-men. That's not what this article is about, because there are a lot of incredible men out there. But this is, I think, something that many women can relate to in so far as, what do we put up with to stay or get or keep a relationship?
Yeah. And I mean, we see patterns, again, not anti-men, but we see patterns play out on reality TV. We see patterns play out in real life, like with our friends and family. You see patterns play out in like films and TV. And I can think specifically of several sitcoms where it's like men are framed as, well-meaning, but kind of flawed. Or you can tell that women are doing the emotional labor, or like they're emotionally regulating their partner. But that's just seen as like the work that a woman has to do to make up for perhaps that well-meaning but flawed man. Or this idea of like, I'm actually thinking a lot of New Girl, which is one of my favorite
Interesting
sitcoms. But this idea of like Jess and Nick and that dynamic, which like pains me to say because I've always been a Nick girl, but like some of his quirks, I can speak for myself. I like forgive because I'm like, well, he means well, and I know it's supposed to be a funny show, but she has to absorb so many of like the consequences of those quirks. And I think that's actually why they end up breaking up in the end. For like this idea of like, she's had to be the quote unquote adult in that dynamic.
Well, it's this idea that, what does being with this person say about me? How is this relationship beyond, I love this person, reflect on me? And what am I sacrificing or putting up with or managing to stay here? Like, what's the
Mm,
cost?
yeah.
And I
And then
think when
there's
you, sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it.
No, and I was going to say, like, and with, again, looking today versus like 10 years ago, everyone is online constantly. Like, social media is so prevalent in our society, and especially a lot of women who are using like TikTok or Instagram, and showcasing their lives, the image that they're curating online, that's their life and their piece. How is that altered or affected when you add in a man to that equation? And if it's positive, amazing, but there's probably some people that just don't want to see it. And then on the flip side, if it's not amazing, and again, I'll use Amanda and Kyle as a really good example of this, you just see what it costs someone, and it starts affecting how people view you,
Yeah.
because it's the person you're with is a reflection of how you see yourself.
It's harsh but true. And in what we get to see on Summer House, you can see Amanda's light dim, because of, not necessarily because of Kyle, but because of the impact of that relationship and that dynamic. I mean, in some situations, yes, because of Kyle, because he cheated on her. But
Yeah.
there's also so many other sort of intangibles that go into that.
Well, all the moments that you have to suck it up and just take it, right? All the moments, even micro things that don't actually really matter in the grand scheme of things. But when you add them all up, the sum of them becomes really difficult to ignore. And the impact of that on someone's self-worth, confidence, sparkle, if you will, is drastic. And you do see it over the last few years. And I think that's why when they did announce their divorce, so many people were like, oh my God, good for you. And all the
Yeah.
edits were like all of these moments of the girls rallying around her and all these things. And you really see it as a woman who put her career on hold to work on his dream, and a woman who constantly kind of, fought for a piece of her own independence and just kind of kept getting shoved aside. And again, we don't know them. This is just what the edit is telling us on Summer House.
Yeah.
But it's very clear in that relationship as a case study that there was such an imbalance in the relationship that like everyone's now celebrating that she's free.
Yeah. It makes me think a lot about, so bear with me on this one. It makes me think a lot about, because I'm thinking as I'm talking, this is not fully formed. I think one of the things that was a huge unlock for me was when I realized that it doesn't really matter in a relationship if like other people would think that a behavior or like a decision or a communication style or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter if other people would be fine with it. What matters is that you're okay with it.
Yeah.
And I think, or that it works for you. And I think that there's this sort of, I don't know. I think that for a long time, women were sort of taught to believe, like by society and what was normal, that there was a certain level of things that you should expect, like from like a minimum.
Yeah.
And that if those things were met, then you should just say, okay, great. Like, like you weren't allowed to have opinions about, you had to accept what was being given to you. And I feel like with a lot of the rhetoric I'm listening, like even just on Giggly Squad or like some of the other, like We Met at Acme, like some of the other podcasts I listen to, there's more agency now being attributed to women to say, you get to decide and sort of define what good looks like for you in a relationship.
Yep.
And it feels very connected to this moment that we're talking about of women sort of reclaiming what makes them feel like most themselves, if that is being single or like staying in a relationship and working on it. But yeah, this idea that you have the agency, you have the ability to define like what a good relationship looks like. And if it's not working, leave, because it's not worth it. Like,
Well, I
being in
think
a relationship that doesn't work for you is not worth it. Whereas, even 10 years ago, I think people would have said, but being in a relationship is what everyone's striving for.
yeah, I have two minds on this. I think not two minds. I have two kind of trains of thought. The on one hand, I think so many people not just women, people get stuck in relationships that aren't working because they just feel like, well, I've invested so much. I've compromised on so much already. Like the sunk cost of that investment is so great relative to what it would be like to start over again.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had times in my life when I've been like, it's too late to start over. It's, I've already done this. How can I, leave at this point, or how can I walk away from this? And I think that prevents people from really looking at a situation objectively. And then I think there are people on the other side of things that honestly probably walk away from things faster than they probably should. And I do think in today's society, there's a lack of willingness to work on things and truly partner. But I think that comes from and is only really valuable in situations where there is true partnership, not where one person is having to compromise and bend and fit and manage their partner in order to satisfy and sustain a relationship.
Yeah. And I think those are such good builds. I sound like I'm in a corporate meeting. But those are really good points. I think what that also makes me think about, though, and this is the trouble with both of those points, is that sunk cost fallacy is real. And this idea of partnership, that point there, is real. But what's the way that you uncover if someone's a true partner? It's like pattern recognition and it's time. So the two are almost like, it's like, how do you know if someone's a true partner to you? Often that's like spending a significant amount of time working on things. And so it's like, shit.
I also think to some extent, like this is also how I'm changing how I'm dating right now. I also think it's just really taking your time and not rushing through the courtship phase. I think if you really do ease into things and you don't rush and don't put your blinders on and you regulate through early dating, I think you can get a decent sense of how someone's going to show up as a partner.
You can get more of an indication. You're right. I think that's
yes.
Yeah. But a lot of the time proof is in the pudding, You're
never going to know until you're confronted with something, right? Like in your first hurdle. But I also want to recognize you and I are coming at this from such a place of privilege in that we have good jobs, we can support ourselves, and like when we're talking about like leave a relationship, sometimes that's not realistic for some people. So I just want to call that out quickly because it just came to me as we were having this conversation.
Yeah,
we're also not in a relationship right now, so
we're single.
It's low bar right now, in terms of. Not low bar. I'd say low threshold for what we're willing to put up with, especially considering we've been single as long as we have been. And we've been holding out for something that feels real, well-matched, and, resembles true partnership in a lot of ways and does not feel one-sided or that we have to compromise on significant portions of ourselves in order to maintain or get that relationship. And I, not to like stick in the Bravo universe, but like another example of this, this concept really comes down to like Paige's relationship. When they broke up originally and she did that episode on Giggly Squad, she handled it with such grace and she really tried to be the bigger person and painted a picture of, she left and, this is the right thing and all of that. And as things kind of devolved between them, you start to hear more about all of the things that she covered up, or all of the things that she managed, or all
Mm-hmm.
of the times that she made excuses for him or let things slide. And you recognize that, okay, this isn't a unique experience. Like, we've all at some point like managed the PR on the person we like or the person we're dating, and it almost comes at such a cost to your own confidence and worth, I would say.
Yeah, I think, and the PR is she's managing is like the world, and the PR we're managing is with like our friends and family, like any of our loved ones
Yeah.
who care about us. Um, and I
But
think
there,
sometimes the weird part is that you don't even realize you're doing it sometimes. I don't know if you've had this experience, but it's like almost like this weird, like subconscious, like it's like a little white lie here and there. And you don't even really, I've definitely been in that situation where I'm thinking of a couple examples where I'm like, yeah, I don't even know why. And it's not even like a lie. Like it's not even a real lie, but it's like a bit of a fibbing of, the way something went down, or like a fibbing of the truth. And you're like, what was I trying to hide? Sometimes I don't even realize.
no, it's so funny. Like, I'll use an example. The guy I was last seeing, very, very early, I got very wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of effort, but it was almost, and I told my sister about it. And her reaction wasn't what I wanted her reaction to be. I wanted her reaction to be like, oh my God, that sounds so exciting. And she's like, well, this sounds a little like maybe
Love
too
bomb
much
me.
too soon. Yeah, I was gonna say. She's like, too much too soon. She's like, I don't love that. I don't. And so I kind of stopped saying things.
Ooh.
And not about the what was happening in general, but like little things that I knew would add to her case.
Yeah.
And I've done that before, and it's such a shit thing to do. But we've all been guilty of it, where like you don't truly unveil the extent of things until something's done. Like, I've done that with, relationships. I know you and I had a very big conversation after a longer term relationship I had about things after the fact versus like in it. And it is like we all manage so much because we don't want the perception of our person to be altered by like one little detail.
Yeah.
But the reality is, at the end of the day, it's not one little detail. And like, if you were dating someone and told me one little thing, I'm not going to hold everything against them on one little thing, but I may be more aware and more observant of things to see if that's an event or is that a pattern.
Yeah. No, that's the really
And
good. Is it a one-time thing, or is this a part of who this person is?
but every single girl has for sure not told or is told a watered down version of events
Mm-hmm.
to their people to try and at least get some support or advice, but without telling the full story. Because you don't want, if things work out, their vision to be altered by this one thing that happened.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it's not one thing.
Yeah. I have a situation, like a sort of situationship thing, long distance, that's still going on. And it was someone, one of my friends from here was like, have you been speaking to him? And I was like, not as much lately. And she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, just not today.
You kind of did this with me.
Yeah. And she was like, okay, so basically every day then? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So like that's a perfect example of like, and if you question me on it, I will tell you. But it's like I don't want the like follow up questions, And
You're
it's
not
like,
prepared to answer the press at this point in time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think this also leads into why so many people, like, I love this looking through this, like the lens of PR and social media, because I think this is why so many people have such an apprehension to hard launch on social media. Like no one wants to put out a press release, hypothetically, not a real press release.
Oh my God, I would
that
love it if
they're
people, just regular people started doing that though.
putting out a
Like
press release,
300
like,
Instagram
I am now
followers.
in a relationship.
Like I just put on my Instagram, I'm like, I know I was seeing someone for 2 weeks. I'm actually no longer
Thoughts
seeing
and
that
prayers
person.
at this time.
Thoughts and prayers.
No, but I think this is why some people have such an aversion to posting their person online, and specifically women, because it's mentioned in the article, if you post them and then things don't end because inevitably, quote unquote, inevitably, that boy is going to fuck something up. And again, not all relationships, disclaimer here, are men's faults. Sometimes
We're
women
really
are bad
single.
too.
We're in the trenches. Give us some
Just
praise.
let us have this. If they fuck something up and you have photos of them in your grid, you either better be posting at a frequency with which you can bury that deep down on your feed, or you're archiving, or you're deleting.
Yeah.
And it just brings up like questions I don't feel prepared to answer. And I think a lot of people are like, why? Until I'm walking down the aisle with someone, you will not know I'm dating them.
Okay.
No, like, and not me saying that, but like people are like, until you walk down the aisle.
Oh, I see.
Like, you're not going to know who I'm
Nicole,
with.
come on.
No, I do love a cheeky soft launch though.
Yeah, me too.
But
And it's interesting because what I thought was interesting is one point she makes in the article is that, some of the followers will come out and say like, no, like don't get a boyfriend, or like don't start dating someone. And there might be a perception that the content will get a little bit drier. But when I do find, if I'm being brutally honest, I typically have a little like, ooh, like, so for instance, one of the influencers I follow, Tanks, if Tanks were to announce that she has a boyfriend, I think I would be like, oh, why not me? But then 5 seconds later, I would be like, oh my God, I'm so excited for her. Like it would be like ooh, what does that mean about me? Because I'm a human and I am similar in age to her.
There's something about the solidarity of following other women that are going through what you're going through. And the second she migrates to another category, you're like, we don't have as much in common anymore. And so there's definitely that like mourning that can come from that. But to your point as well, like you are happy for them, especially people you do care about.
And I care a lot about Tanks. No, and I think the other thing that I did want to say, because we're talking a lot about the Amanda and Kyle breakup, is I wasn't happy to hear that they broke up. Like, I'm happy if, I don't know her, but I wasn't like, yay, another breakup. I wasn't feeling that way about it. I was just feeling like, truthfully, quite sad. Like, I was like, oh, I'm excited if she's happy. But it's the end of this thing. Like, it's sad. Like, they worked really fucking hard to make this work.
Well, I think it's, for me, you look at this relationship, and again, this is just one example, but it's sad in the sense that you saw how much work, like you said, went into making this work. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of compromise. There was a lot of, and I think that investment having not panned out in that way is sad.
Yeah.
I also think when we talk about, the core kind of undertone to all of this, it goes back, I think, to the idea that women oftentimes, from a massive generalization, are peacemakers and tend to feel things more deeply and almost self-abandon to maintain status quo.
Yeah.
And when I think of this whole concept, both of us have been very open to the fact that we would love to be partnered. We'd love to have someone. There's definitely things we would like to have. But I'm not willing, and we've said this before, I'm not willing to compromise my peace, and I'm not willing to self-abandon in order to gain admission to that.
Yeah.
And when you look at these people who have done it, and again, we've all done it in little ways, which I think is also why we're waking up to the fact, like women are staying single longer. And I think part of it comes down to the fact that we've all done it in some way, in shape or form in our past.
And we've been like, wait a second, that didn't work.
Exactly. We're also all going to therapy now.
Yeah.
I do think social media has opened up conversations that we typically wouldn't have had with your girlfriends. And it's just making, I think, people really question status quo more and more. And what price are we willing to pay to have those things that we want?
I also
Because there's
think,
definitely a drop off. Like there's a point with that I would rather be single than.
of course. Yeah. And again, hard to recognize what that is sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you're so wrapped up in it. To sort of like close out on a positive note that's really related to what you just said, there's this idea, I think, of social media not only initiating those conversations or creating space for them, but also allowing us to see some of the people we just talked about. Like Paige is a perfect example of thriving post breakup. Just like it's like the corporate version of like another club, no sleep. Like she's like started her own, sleepwear brand. She's been on freaking Jimmy Kimmel, Giggly Squad, did a full like tour, like
sold out Radio City Music Hall.
Sold out Radio City. And she seems so happy and just like it shows us having access to parts of her life through social.
Yeah.
It shows us that like life does not end after you go through a big breakup like that. And I know that she's said on Summer House, like she thought that she would be with Craig for potentially the rest of her life. So I think that it's a really heartwarming thing to like it's like girlhood, coming back to girlhood, this idea of like other girls go through it too, and you can thrive after you've been through something like that.
Well, I think that also kind of is what leads to this conversation is when you see so many of these women who did compromise or self-abandon or whatever you want to label it as, thrive, and the potential that they unlock within themselves post-relationship, it then begs the question, around, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? To what end do relationships serve us?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yes, from a positive standpoint, it isn't embarrassing to have a boyfriend. I would disagree with that statement. But I think it's embarrassing to have to explain yourself constantly, or make excuses for someone, or be managing yourself and your life and your PR in a way to keep the peace.
Yeah.
And that is further supported when you see women like Paige DeSorbo absolutely thriving in life,
crushing it
once you leave that situation. So it becomes hard to almost be like, yeah, it's worth it to be in a relationship. Or I think more so, like, to be less pessimistic, it really makes you question the cost and to what end you're willing to settle.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important takeaway here, is to understand what your baseline is.
Yeah. I love that. Also, I'm realizing, and I never told the listeners, but I'm in my bed right now. And if there was ever an episode, well, I'm just saying, if there's ever an episode for us to be talking about Paige DeSorbo, the fact that I'm in my bed is I didn't do that on purpose, but it's kind of a nice little continuity thing there.
I do like it. Yeah. I
loved that chat. I think this is like, it's really fascinating. We'll obviously talk a little bit more about it on social. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think Nicole and I, as we said, we're both single, same age, work similar jobs. We often have similar views on things. So I would love to hear what we're missing. Like, what are the gaps that we're not considering?
We're also very similar and on the same algorithm. So full disclosure, we're probably being fed all the same things. But I also, the conversations like this make me feel so grateful that we have this, because even prior to having the podcast, you and I wouldn't sit down for an hour a week and discuss a topic like this in depth. And like most people are not sitting down having conversations like this with their friends on a regular basis. So I think, I don't know, it's just making me feel all nice tonight.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Definitely took me out of my bad mood. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, I had like a cut on my finger that's like really bothering me.
She got
it really
distracted there.
Really distracted me for a second. But yeah, let us know what you think. Please subscribe. Please share this podcast with a friend. And we love hearing from you. If there's topics or guests you want us to bring on, let us know. We're going to do some pretty fun stuff this weekend for the pod that I'm quite excited about.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. We love you. Keep listening, keep thriving, and keep choosing yourself.
Shining. Keep thriving. Sorry.
No, you can always count on me.
For sure. That's what friends are for.
I tried to harmonize with you and it didn't work.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Bye, guys.